Hello there. We're going to talk a little today about nymphing. I'm going to give you some tips to help improve your nymphing game. Now, nymphing, I think, has a bad rap. I love nymphing. I don't do the Euro nymphing. I do the traditional fly rod indicator setup. There's just nothing better, in my opinion, when you see that indicator floating downstream and all of a sudden it disappears. Just takes me back to my youth when I used to bobber fish for crappie in these small lakes with my dad and my brother. So I love nymphing and I've gotten pretty good at it. And I'm going to share some of my tips and tricks that I've used over the years doing nymphs. So we're in the winter time. So I have a deadly wintertime setup. And that, I'm going to try to get my line out here. It's a little tangled. Here's something that can happen just simply trying to get the line out of the end of my rod. Brand new leader, and I've already messed it all up. So I guess my first tip for you when nymphing is be patient. Don't try to rush things because then you just create more work for yourself later. Oh, come on, do I got it? Is it almost there? So one of the deadliest setups that I've used is the TJ hooker fly right here. I don't know if you can see that. Pat's rubber leg works real well. This is tied on a jig leech. It's heavily weighted. It just looks fishy. And I have the affectionately known as the San Juan worm. This is kind of a sparkle worm. This is also known, anybody know? Anybody know what this setup is called? Put it down in the comments and see who's right. So next is you got to have an indicator. A couple years ago, I switched to Oros indicator. Why I switched to Oros is they're just a better indicator. They're family owned and operated. It truly is an innovation, which we don't have many in the fly fishing world. No longer will this thing twist or tangle. It goes right down the center of the line. It is so much easier to use than any other indicator on the market. You put the fly line, there's a little groove right in the kind of the little in the little screw portion. That's where the line goes, and you just screw them together and voila. So how do you manage depth? And here's another nice thing, right? So I put it too high, so I'm gonna just loosen it up. I'm gonna pull my line through until I have it right about where I want it. So for me, it's about prospecting when I first get to a hole. This is a nice inside turn. Looks pretty deep. I'm guessing it's probably 5 or 6 feet deep. The current's not too fast on the inside, so things are gonna get down and sink pretty quickly. I typically don't use split shot. The only time that I have used split shot is when steelheading, when you gotta get that real light egg fly right to the bottom. Sometimes I'll put a piece of split shot on there to help me get down. So I'm about 2.5 feet off the indicator. See my setup down there. And I'm gonna start prospecting. Now, one of the things I wanna encourage you to do, which is really hard to do, the best part of this water is just right there where the back eddy and the current meet. It's that seam. But I'm gonna walk the fly out, right? I wanna make sure that I cover all aspects of this hole. I'm gonna go in where it dumps in. I know it gets deep right there. I'm gonna throw it right on the edge. I'm gonna walk it a little bit further out. And I'm gonna walk it into the swift current. I'm gonna make sure I walk the fly out to really kind of grid the entire hole to make sure I'm not casting over the fish. So many people don't realize how close fish can be right to you, right up close. So be sure to hit the inside water first and then fish it out. So let's head over there and see if we can catch a fish. Here we go. Nice. These red sides are just nuts. Jeez, come on, buddy. Promise I'm gonna put you back. Beautiful fish. That is a pretty fish. One key thing to remember when you're nymphing, it's super important to constantly be varying your depth until you find where the fish are feeding in the water column. Sometimes they're right on the bottom, sometimes they're more towards the middle, and sometimes they're higher up. So you want to experiment, walk the fly out, but experiment in your depths with your indicators too. If you don't get anything for about 15 minutes, change where your indicator is in relation to your flies. You want to shallow things up, bring it towards your flies, and then fish for that for about 10, 15 minutes. If you still don't get anything, the fish are here, right? Put it deeper. See if you can get down. And when you start hooking the bottom, you know you're probably too deep at that point, but you're getting towards the bottom, maybe adjust it by about 6 inches. But you want to constantly be varying your indicator wherever it is you're fishing to try to find the fish and where they might be feeding in the water column. All right, well, I hope that helps you catch more fish the next time you're out nymphing. All right, everybody, till the next time, fish on.